The one thing that I want Rebecca to know is that I'll always be there for her and for Bentley, and that I'll love them with every ounce I have in me, and that I'm just over the moon excited about this day finally being here, because we've waited a long time.
I just get to marry my best friend and spend the rest of my life with him, and just as like the closer we get, like the more real it gets that I get to spend like forever with him, and it's awesome. So the necklace I'm wearing is my mom's necklace. She wore it 22 years ago when she got married, and I wanted to wear it because the marriage that they have and have had over the past 22 years gave me a really clear vision of what I wanted for my marriage. When I found Caleb, I found what they had, and that was so important to me, and I feel like when I wear this necklace, it's gonna bring good fortune into my marriage. And I also love my mom. And we'll probably pass this down to my children too.
She doesn't know this because I never told her, but the first day that I knew was the day that I took her to meet my parents, and we were outside in the backyard throwing a baseball. I know I've talked to her about this before, but I've never told her that that's the day that I knew, but I knew that day.
Honestly, like our first date, which it sounds so crazy, like you'd know on your first date that you're gonna marry someone, but when I had like worked with Caleb for probably a year and a half, and we were friends, and he asked me over for dinner, and he cooked me dinner and sat down with me, and we probably talked for like 5 hours straight without taking a breath, and I was just like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be the person I marry, because it just flowed, and it was so real, just right from the beginning. And I just knew like almost immediately, which sounds crazy, but I just did. It was, I don't want to say it was love at first sight, but it kind of was in a way.
Patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. I think the first thing that you'll learn is that love is faithful. Today, you're going to look at each other and you will say, "Till death do us part." And you will mean that. And that is a rare thing in this world, where when the going gets tough, most people just give up. But that's the kind of love that God designed for marriage to show, a love that you choose more than a love that you feel.
Rebecca Joylyn Taylor. I remember coming back from a cruise with my friends in 2016 and seeing you for the first time in Olive Garden. I was a server working my first dinner shift after being back, and I was standing at the computer in the bar, and you walked past me, leading a couple back to their table. That's when I knew you were a hostess. I remember thinking, who was this? You weren't here when I left for that cruise. But I remember being curious. Obviously, I thought you were gorgeous, but there was something more about you that I couldn't quite place my finger on just yet. As I started to learn and hear more about you, it just made me that much more curious about who you truly were. I knew you had a 2-year-old, and it was something I didn't know if I was ready for. But still, I couldn't stop thinking about you, and I knew I needed to find out who Rebecca really was. So we made plans to get together one night after you finished your shift. I remember you coming over to my apartment, and we talked for 5 hours, and it felt like 10 minutes. After that talk, I gave you a hug, and you left, and I remember thinking there was something special about you. So we continued to talk and see each other, and the night I brought you over to meet my parents, we threw a baseball together, and I knew in that moment that I loved you. I can't explain why I felt that way, but I guess I just knew. And here we are almost 3 years later, standing in front of our closest friends and family, at the altar, ready to embark on this journey of life together. I can't explain the emotions I feel right now because they're overwhelming. All I know is that I promise to love you and Bentley with every ounce in me. I promise to not get angry with you when you haven't had your daily dose of morning caffeine with your coffee. I promise to be patient and understanding with you as we move through these different stages of life together. I promise to always be there for Bentley and to raise him to be the man that every woman deserves. But most importantly, I promise to always be there for you with whatever life throws our way. When you're old and gray, I'll be standing right beside you, loving you as hard as I did in the very beginning. You're my person, and in just a couple of minutes, I'll be able to call you my wife, and nothing in this world can make me happier. I love you more.
Caleb Thomas Coy. From the moment I met you, you were special to me. Our friendship quickly turned into so much more. I was approached by a gentleman who simply just wanted to get to know me, and for some of you who are unfamiliar with the current dating field, this is hard to find. On our first date, we talked for about 5 hours straight without taking a breath. It was like I had found the person my soul needed. 3 years ago, you captured my heart by being exactly who you are. You have been my very best friend through the good and the bad. I love you because you are compassionate, adventurous, and strong. I love you because you love your family and friends just as fiercely as I love mine. I love that your family has become mine and my family has become yours. Since I was a little girl, I would dream up the perfect wedding, the perfect dress, the perfect ceremony, the perfect hair, the perfect flowers, and the perfect man. It was the day you proposed that I realized I had been blessed with my perfect man, and suddenly no other part of my perfect wedding seemed to hold the same significance as it did before. I always thought it would be difficult to find someone who would love me, even when I'm in 1,000 pieces. It's like trying to complete a puzzle when you don't even know if you have all of the right pieces. But you showed me that every piece doesn't have to be in place to create something beautiful. You showed me that love can exist in the most imperfect, lost, and broken places. And I promise you that love will be just as beautiful if you are in 1,000 pieces or just one. Today I make the most sincere promise one heart can make to another. Today I promise that I will spend every day for the rest of our lives together proving that I'm worthy of being your partner. I promise to give you the best of myself. I promise to trust and respect you as your own person and to realize that your interests, desires, and needs are no less important than my own. I promise to share with you my time, my attention, and to bring joy and strength and Jesus to our relationship. I vow to laugh with you and cry with you. I vow to listen to you and learn from you. I vow to value our differences just as much as our common ground. I vow to put all of my effort into strengthening our marriage and giving you the best version of Rebecca. And I promise to never take 1 second of it for granted. Caleb, on good days or bad days, rain or shine, I'll love you forever. I love you more.
These rings are pure metal, which symbolize the purity that your love should have. And these rings are an endless circle, which should remind you of how endless and pure God's love is for us, and your love for one another should be. So Caleb, Take this ring and repeat after me as you place it on Rebecca's finger. With this ring, I thee wed. Rebecca, take your ring and repeat after me as you place it on Caleb's finger. With this ring, I thee wed.
With this ring, I thee wed.
Caleb, do you take Rebecca to be your wife? Do you promise before God and these witnesses to love her, comfort her, honor and keep her in sickness and in health, forsaking all others, keeping yourself only for her so long as you both shall live? If so, say, I do.
I do.
Now, Rebecca, do you take Caleb to be your husband? Do you promise before God and these witnesses to love him, comfort him, honor and keep him in sickness and in health, forsaking all others, keeping yourself only for him so long as you both shall live? If so, say, I do.
I do.
Caleb and Rebecca, because of your vows made together today in the sight of God and of these people, to love one another until death do you part, as a minister of the gospel of Jesus Christ and in accordance with the laws of the state of Indiana, I pronounce you husband and wife. Caleb, you may kiss your bride.